Omni Loader is typically used to copy a large amount of data from source database to target database. They can be of the same type, but they can also be of completely different types. Let's see how to do that. I'm going to click New Project here, and we have 3 project types. We'll go with full table copy, and I'm going to select SQL Server as my source here. I can select any of my databases here. I can actually select multiple, but let's go with one here. I'm going to click Next, and for the target, let's go with Fabric Lakehouse this time. We have saved connections, so I don't have to type things every time. I'm gonna authenticate here and wait a few seconds until Fabric Lakehouse allows me to connect. Right, it asked me to authenticate twice, and now we are done. If I click Finish, we're going to be reading metadata from source and target database. And as soon as that's read, you're ready to go. So our source database has some 10 billion records here. We're going from SQL Server to Fabric Lakehouse. And if I click Load Tables now, we're going to be copying 10 billion records here. That would take too long for the purposes of this demo video, so I'm going to select None, and I can filter for table name. So let's go, for example, with ultra large blobs here. So if I click this, and let's pick a table with 100 million records here, right? So if I click my filter and show selected only, we can see that we have just 2 tables selected here. Now let me click Load Tables and see what happens. All right, we are copying both tables in parallel, very high speed. The total throughput is 3 million records per second, 22 terabytes per day, and will be done in under a minute. That's all. Now we have copied over 100 million records here in 27 seconds, and the tables are ready to be used in Fabric Lakehouse. What does it take to do the same thing for Fabric Warehouse? Okay, let's create a new project again. I'm going to take SQL Server, same source database, select Fabric Warehouse again, preload my connection information here, click Next, click Finish. You're reading the metadata, which is the structure of both source and target database. It's just going to take a few seconds, and we're good to go. All right, let's copy, for example, a billion records this time. And just for fun, let's also copy 10 million records here, 100 million records there, right? Okay, so click Load Tables. Let's see how long does it take to load a billion records from the local on-premises SQL Server into Fabric Warehouse. So you can see that we now have, because we are loading a billion records, we have even more parallel slices. And please keep in mind, this is fully automatic. You don't need to set up anything, regardless of the table size, regardless of a database type. This software is fully self-tuning, so it will do everything it needs to do to make the very reliable and highly performant copy. We are now loading some 5.7 million records per second, going from on-prem to Fabric Warehouse. We see a lot of parallel jobs. So even if you have small number of extremely large tables, Omni Loader will still process them using all the CPU cores and be extremely efficient. Please keep in mind this is just a single executable running, so you don't need to provide additional compute, additional storage, ETL pipelines. You basically just select the tables and run. As soon as any individual worker is done, new jobs are firing up, right? So we have already copied over 500 million records in just a bit over 1 minute, right? So now we have completed already most of the parts of this billion record table, and while the remaining parts are being loaded, Omni Loader has already started processing other selected tables, right? Now, as these additional slices keep finishing, we'll be starting processing more and more parts of the small 101 table. This is with 100 million records. The other one is with a billion records, so 1 giga records. And now in a matter of seconds, you'll see us just providing more and more workers working on this small 100M table, which has 100 million records here. So this whole process is designed to be extremely performant and extremely efficient. You'll also see that as this billion record table is approaching completion, we're going to be firing up ingestion into Fabric Warehouse while still continuing to process all the other tables unencumbered. So the ingestion process for a billion records will take a while. We, of course, you can now see that it has started the ingesting process. We, of course, take great care that the Parquet files that we generate on the fly are appropriately sized. As soon as this ingestion part is done, your tables will be ready to be used in Fabric Warehouse.